Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Business Live. Coming up in this bulletin, we'll be exploring what the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz means to emerging and developing countries like Ghana and whether it will be too premature for government to lock in lower prices by revising tax and levy components in the price build-up after the second pricing window elapses. Also in this bulletin, Ghana's non-traditional export earnings increased by 30.7% to reach $5 billion in 2025. Details from the launch of the 2025 non-traditional export statistics.
Non-traditional export earnings has grown by 30.7% from $3.83 billion United States dollars in 2024 to $5.006 billion in 2025.
We shall be telling you the significance of this to the economy. Plus, GCB Bank PLC declares 1 cedi dividend per share at the bank's 32nd annual general meeting held in Accra today.
Of 2025, we declared a profit of 3.2 billion cedis as against the 1.9 the previous year. And the share price also increased from 6 to 20. So with this, we believe that we are in a position to declare dividends.
We have details of this and more for you. Please stay on. Thanks so much for your time. I am Pius Kujobaka. To that big story in the world of business, Iran has declared the Strait of Hormuz completely open to commercial traffic during the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. Israel and Lebanon agreed on Thursday to a 10-day ceasefire. The strait has remained almost completely closed during the U.S.-Iran ceasefires as the two countries disputed the terms of the agreement. Oil prices have plunged more than 11% after the announcement. What are the economic fallouts of the reopening and what does this mean for emerging and developing countries like Ghana? Let's get onto Zoom for a thorough conversation. And on the back of that, an energy economist, Nathaniel Agyeman, joins us via Zoom for a conversation. Thank you so much, sir, for agreeing to speak to us here on Business Live. And we know Ghana imports 80% of refined products, much of it through the Gulf. Now, does any or an open Hormuz reduce the sea case for costly strategic stockpiles, or should we still hedge, you would say?
Definitely, Ghana is definitely, this is good news for Ghana, not just for Ghana, but every country around the world, because the closing of the Hormuz has actually brought a lot of economic turmoil onto various countries, and everybody is actually feeling the impact. And so we hearing the news this afternoon that the Hormuz has actually been open is really good news for everybody, including Ghana. And then Ghana is really going to benefit from this, because if you check Ghana, most of our fuel is being imported from outside, the refined fuel that we use in the country. And so the ripple effect that we are going to see in the country is going to be a slowing down in the various disinflation trend that we've been seeing lately. Even though inflation has been recorded to be on the lower side, however, prices in the market have still been going up. And so now that the Hormuz have been opened, obviously we are going to see a slow trend in disinflation. Apart from that, we're going to see that prices of goods and services generally are going to start easing down, which is going to help their economy and also help the cost of living that individuals and citizens in the country will be going through.
And finally, just government, we know, absorbed 2 cedis on diesel. If global prices stay low due to the Hormuz stability, can that subsidy be rolled back without public backlash?
Well, when you look at the subsidy that has been rolled out, obviously sometimes you have to also look at the political aspect of it. You can obviously see that government is trying to do some good things in terms of politics to be able to kind of look good in the eyes of Ghanaians. However, now that the Hormuz have been opened, I don't think it's a policy that government should continue to do with it. It should just be in the short term, because if government plans to keep this relief that has been given to the 2 cedis relief being given to Ghanaians, then it means we are going to have issues with our fiscal disciplines. As you already know, currently Ghana is involved in the IMF program, and for the past few years, we've actually been able to be very strict when it comes to ensuring that we are meeting the various thresholds that IMF has given us. And so if government decides to keep this 2 cedis subsidy that it has planned to roll out, then it means our expenditure levels are going to shut up, and then it means we might not be able to follow the various things that the IMF is telling us, which is going to cost us a lot as a country. And the ripple effects will obviously be seen in terms of prices, transports, and everywhere. So government should just continue. I mean, in the short term, you can just keep it for a month or 2, but in the long term, now that the Hormuz have been opened, now there's going to be less pressure on the cedi, because in a way, because at first the prices of fuel were skyrocketing and government had to use a lot of dollars to get more of this fuel into the country. Now that it has been opened, prices are coming down, which means less foreign exchange to get more fuel. And so government should just relax, take its time, and then just implement this subsidy in the short term, and then can take it off right after that.
That's fine. So how quickly does the reopening translate to refinery prices for BDCs to start importing to Ghana and then subsequently to OMCs?
I think as we can see on the markets currently, it is very, very immediate, because we can see that we've seen about a 10% decrease in oil prices right after the Hormuz was announced that it has been opened. But going forward, since Ghana has a pricing window of calculating the various prices for oil prices, we would have to wait for the next pricing window for us to factor all these reduction in the prices. So we just have to wait for the window, but then the effect is going to be immediate. And then in the next pricing window, government will be able to reduce the fuel prices at pumps, and OMCs will also be able to do same.
Nathaniel, thank you very much for your time this very moment. I'm glad you could make time to speak to us here on Business Life. Now, let's shift focus to some other stories. Ghana's non-traditional export earnings increased by 30.7% to $5 billion in 2025. This represents a huge leap from the 6% average annual growth recorded over the last 10 years. Details in this report.
According to the 2025 Non-Traditional Export Statistics Report, which was released by the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, manufacturing and semi-processed subsector drove growth, accounting for 83.4% of total earnings. Cocoa derivatives, including paste, butter, and powder, dominated growth, with cocoa paste alone generating over $789.3 million. Speaking at the launch of the report, Board Chairman of GEPA, Dr. Godfred Seidu Jasor, shed more light on the reasons for the growth.
We've focused on profiling, training, providing opportunity and market access to most of these NTE products, and so market access has improved. Because of that, they've pitched a lot of exhibitions abroad, ECOWAS market, Europe, and the Americas.
Other high-performing products included cashew nuts, which raked in $297.6 million, whereas articles of plastics recorded a 37.8% increase to reach $275.4 million. CEO of the authority, Francis Arthur, highlighted the need for increased funding.
I am advocating that by virtue of the work I'm doing and in regards to the targets of achieving $10 billion by 2030, I will need more resources, because if 10% has given me 5.06 billion, okay, then what can 20% do?
Meanwhile, Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare, called for tailored financial schemes to support SMEs.
We can never be export ready if we don't get patient capital. It is right learning that SMEs need a bit of time to grow. If they are given impatient capital, it's a recipe for disaster. It means that we are setting them up to fail. Once they get patient capital, they will be able to do the things right, get the standards right, get the packaging right, and be able to export. And so I appeal to all the banking institutions herein present and out there to grow with the SMEs, because they will be the engine of the bank's growth also.
While other sectors witnessed a hike in growth, handicraft subsector saw a decline in reported figures. Also, Europe remains Ghana's largest export destination, with the Netherlands leading the pack. Again, Ghana earned over $1.5 billion from exports to other African countries.
It is important we understand the figures better. Joining me in studio is my colleague Isaac Atasenyako, who filed that report. And it is important as well for us to understand and appreciate what it really means when we say non-traditional export. Break it down for us.
Well, so when we say non-traditional exports, Pius, we are talking about commodities or products other than our main exports, which is cocoa, gold, the minerals, oil, and what have you. So over the years, the Ghana Export Promotion Authority has been churning out figures with regards to numbers behind our non-traditional export. Now, what's remarkable about 2025 is that they recorded a 30.7% increase. Now, that's quite significant because, Pius, in 2023 to 2024, there was a bit of a dip. So in 2023, the figures recorded or earnings were about 3.8 billion, while in 2024, there was a bit of a dip with 3.8 billion, and in 2023, 3.9 billion. But in 2025, they were able to turn this around. Now, GEPA says that this is due to, opening up access for a lot of these SMEs. So now they've increased participation in product, fairs, trade fairs, exhibitions. And so they are trying to push a lot of SMEs to partake in some of these exhibitions so that they're able to reach new markets and sell their product elsewhere. Again, what's interesting about this is that in Africa, across the world, actually, first off, Netherlands is our top export destination, recording, values worth over $800 million. But when you come to Africa, it's actually Togo, which recorded, something around a figure around over 200 million, actually. So again, when you look at the product, cocoa dominated because it enjoyed, some increment in the last couple of years with cocoa prices and all of that. Again, cocoa products such as cocoa paste, cocoa powder, again saw a huge increase, especially with European countries demanding more for such semi-processed, products. So the question is, are we ready to add value to some of these commodities, the raw commodities that we have? And if we're able to do that and we're able to push it on the global market, I guess we'll be able to earn more, rake in more, when it comes to non-traditional exports. All
right, let's explore this further and bring in an economist to speak to us on the subject matter. Joining us via Zoom as well is Professor Seram Kawo. Thank you so much, sir, for making time to join us here on Business Live. How significant is the $5 billion non-traditional export earnings to the economy we are learning?
Thank you very much. $5 billion, as you stated, is just close to what we have gone for IMF to borrow. We went for $3 billion. And so if non-traditional export is giving us $5 billion over the years, then it is very significant for us. That is also telling us that if we are able to add value, process our raw materials into finished products, we'll be able to make enough money in the country to help us do a lot of things. export is very important. And this very deep or a leap that we may say at this point is significant in the sense that we are now trying to let ourselves know the importance of adding value to the products that we have and making sure that we increase our export earnings. And once we are processing and adding value, it means that we are going to make more returns on whatever we export as a country.
Which then means that we have to put in pragmatic policy interventions, of course, to sustain this momentum, right?
Yes, we need to do that. We need to support the SMEs. We need to ensure that they have the necessary skills, the tools, the equipment that they need, and the necessary finances that they need to run these businesses. And so if we are able to come out with policies that will drive the SME sector, that would be very good. Already we have the Ghana Stock Exchange opening up the alternative stock market, where SMEs can go and raise enough amount of money and not necessarily going through the banks to borrow. They can get large sums of money from the alternative stock exchange so that these monies do not come with interest. You pay dividend to the shareholders of your company. And such policies have to be encouraged, and more SMEs are supposed to be helped to go to the market and then raise enough funds. The banks can then complement the other ones. We need skills training for some of the SMEs. We need financial management skills, economic skills for these people so that we can add value to whatever that they are producing. Entrepreneurship is very important. And if these entrepreneurs are available, no matter how significant or how small they are working, we need those policies that will be able to help them.
Professor Sayam Kawa, thank you very much for your input this very moment. I'm grateful you could make time to speak to us. Now, straightforward, Michael Obri has revealed that the meeting with government did not adequately address their concerns, but described it as a starting point for engagement. According to him, their priority is to ensure that businesses continue to operate, adding that they will take a final decision after the committee concludes its work.
This doesn't address our concerns adequately. It doesn't deal with all the issues that we want, but we think that it is a starting point we can work with. It's a starting point we can work with. And in good faith, the business community is allowing the program to proceed while we get onto the committee, and hope that at the technical committee level, we can resolve the issues that come up. So it doesn't deal with our issues. We still insist that the government should call off the Publican AI for the committee to develop the framework. But we think that we must also act in good faith, and in good faith, this is a good starting point. I think our next move, like we've mentioned, is that we're going to go to the committee, and depending on what comes up from the committee, we would come back again as a group and make a decision whether the developments from the committee satisfies our interest largely. And so that really is it. I cannot tell you what the decision would be, but I can assure you that we would act rationally to protect our business interests and also to make sure that we are acting within the scope of what law allows.
One of our top stories, GCB Bank PLC has announced a final dividend of 1 cedi per share for the 2025 financial year following approval from the Bank of Ghana. The announcement was made at the bank's 32nd annual general meeting, where the board chairman, Professor Joshua Alabi, explained that last year's proposed dividend was not approved by the regulator, a situation he described as disappointing for both shareholders and the board. Details in this report.
The dividend declaration comes on the back of a strong financial performance in 2025. Despite pressure on interest margins, the board chair noted that the bank maintained resilience with net interest margin settling at 14.4%, supported by strong deposit mobilization and disciplined balance sheet management.
We're on track. So at the end of the year, 2025, the share price from 6 cedis moved to 20 cedis, which is a huge jump for shareholders. So if a shareholder wants to sell a share today, you can see the percentage increase that is going to get. Now, but we also believe that aside that the shareholders too must have some dividend that they can take home. Last year the profit was about 1.9 billion. And we declared a profit of 1 cedi per share, but the Bank of Ghana didn't approve that. So we entered into a series of discussions and negotiations. And along the discussions and negotiations, we also told ourselves that we have to work hard to improve upon what happened in 2024. So at the end of 2025, we declared a profit of 3.2 billion cedis, as against the 1.9 the previous year. And the share price also increased from 6 to 20. So with this, we believe that we are in a position to declare dividends.
Professor Alabi also revealed plans to expand beyond Ghana's borders with a strategic move to acquire one of Liberia's top financial institutions already in progress.
Foreign banks are coming to Ghana, and what are we doing? I must say we're also thinking the same as you say, except that we've not announced it because it's in the pipeline. In the middle of somewhere last year, end of last year, yes, I led a team to Liberia, and it is on our intention to buy the third largest bank in Liberia, knowing very well that we were performing and we could afford. So I was in Liberia with the MD and a team. We met with the governor of their central bank to discuss that. We met with the chairman of their investment preferential council, we discussed that. And we met the president of Liberia to show an interest in moving into the Liberian market and the possibility of acquiring the third largest bank in Liberia. As we see today, we are on the negotiation table, and I pray that that will yield a result.
GCB Bank PLC says it remains committed to strengthen its position as a modern technology-driven and competitive institution within Ghana's financial sector.
Japan Motors Ghana has officially launched the all-new Nissan Patrol in Accra, with key stakeholders highlighting strong Ghana-Japan relations, customer satisfaction and vehicle performance. Speaking at the launch at the event at Silver Star Towers, Japan's ambassador to Ghana congratulated the company for its long-standing contribution to the country's automotive sector. Details in this report.
Event held at Silver Star Towers brought together key stakeholders in the automotive industry, including diplomats and industry players. Speaking at the launch, Japan's ambassador to Ghana, Hiroshi Yoshimoto, commended Japan Motors for its long-standing contribution to Ghana's automotive industry. He noted that Japan Motors operations in Ghana date back to the 1950s and reflect the strong and enduring relationship between the two countries.
Allow me to congratulate Japan Motors on this remarkable launch and to commend their unwavering commitment to promoting Japanese automotive excellence in Ghana since 1950s. Their work stands as a testament to the strong and enduring relations between Japan and Ghana. I wish Japan Motors every success in the sale of the all-new Nissan Patrol and in all future endeavors.
The company also used the platform to reaffirm its commitment to delivering not just vehicles, but a complete ownership experience. Managing Director of Japan Motors Ghana, Salem Kalmani, emphasized the importance of customer satisfaction through reliable after-sales service.
At Japan Motors, we're committed not only to delivering world-class vehicles, but also to ensuring complete peace of mind for our customers. The all-new Nissan Patrol comes with a comprehensive 3-year warranty or 100,000 kilometer warranty, whichever comes first, when purchased directly through Japan Motors. Our goal is clear: to provide our valued customers with exceptional after-sales support, delivered by highly trained technicians in a world-class service environment.
On the issue of performance, particularly fuel capability, General Manager for Sales and Marketing at Japan Motors, Amin Kabara, assured customers that the vehicle is well suited to local conditions.
We've done our research already. We've gone to all the fuel suppliers in town. We've got the report. We've asked for the detailed materials, ingredients of their fuel type. And yes, I can answer you with confidence that the quality of fuel that is in Ghana is suitable for this. We have to go for the premium quality fuel. You know, we have two levels of fuel. So we advise the clients who drive these cars should go for the premium fuel quality that is available in town.
The launch of the Nissan Patrol is expected to strengthen Japan Motor's position in Ghana's premium SUV segments, offering a blend of performance, durability, and strong after-sales support.
Farmers in the Bono East region are calling for immediate government intervention as challenges with market access, farm inputs, and climate change continue to threaten agricultural productivity and livelihoods. Details in this report.
The Regional Director of Agriculture, James Edu, described the situation as serious, particularly in the Kintampo North farming communities. He noted that the lack of machinery such as tractors is hindering farming activities. Mr. Edu also pointed out that storage remains a major challenge, with many farmers forced to keep their produce in their homes due to the absence of proper warehousing facilities.
In fact, during the peak hours, especially when the farming is intensive, tractor services become difficult because the period normally for getting high yield is about 2 weeks. And almost all the tractor operators are also farmers, and they have relatives, so they have to work with their own farm, work with their relatives' farms before they work for other farmers. So before you chase them and get them, if you don't take care, the season will be over. So sometimes farmers have to sit on the machine, the tractor operator, even in the bush, in order to get the tractor services. The tractor operator goes to his farm.
On climate change, he explained the erratic weather conditions are impacting crop yields, stressing the need for farmers to study changing weather patterns and adopt resilient crop varieties. These concerns were highlighted during a farmers' deba in the Kintampo North constituency, where Oyster Agribusiness Limited honored 49 farmers with farm tools and equipment.
The climate change has come to stay, and it's a natural phenomenon. But what we are producing is climate smart agriculture. That means we have to adapt to the climate change, studying the trend and try to produce to meet what we have. Some varieties that can withstand some of this heat.
Thanks so much for being part of Business Life for today. I am Pius Kujobaka.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Sign here, sign here, sign here, and here. And now you draw direction to your house. I need your thumbprint. And I'll need your birth certificate too. No, I need the original.
A lot has changed since you banked like this. So have we. We've made it easier than ever to open an account online and bank on the go through our mobile app, online banking, and more. EcoBank, a better way to bank your way.
Sign here, and here.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Mini Ojo, from the connection man.